My friend, there is a divine truth that few dare to believe. You are destined to be wealthy. Not just comfortably rich, not just financially secure, but a billionaire in soul, mind, and material form. This isn't a fantasy. It's not a lucky break. It's a promise. A covenant written into the blueprint of your being. You were born not to beg for wealth, but to command it, to create it with your mind, to attract it with your faith, and to multiply it with your actions. There is a power within you that has been waiting for your permission to awaken. That power is faith, not blind hope, but conscious belief backed by relentless action. Faith is the only substance that turns invisible thoughts into physical gold. Look around. Every fortune, every empire, every billionaire you admire began with a thought, a vision, a definite purpose. They believed when there was nothing to see. They walked when the road wasn't paved. And because they believed, the world had no choice but to make room for their riches. So I ask you, what is your purpose? Have you dared to define it with clarity? Have you declared it to your own soul with conviction so strong the universe shakes with your certainty? If not, start now. Burn the image of your destiny into your mind. See the billions. Feel the life it will bring. Speak it every day. Think it every night. Your mind is the workshop of God Himself. What you build there, you will hold in your hands. But vision without action is just a dream. And God doesn't honor dreams, He honors movement. Every step you take in faith, every decision you make in alignment with your purpose is a signal to heaven. I am ready for more. And when you are ready, more will come. The law of wealth is as sure as gravity. What you sow, you shall reap. When you sow gratitude, discipline, and action, you reap prosperity, peace, and power. Don't let fear rob you of the fortune that is already yours. Don't let doubt silence the voice of destiny within you. You are not a victim of this world. You are a builder of new ones. You are not chasing wealth. Wealth is chasing you. So rise up, my friend. Speak boldly, act courageously, think richly. Because God has already promised you the land, it's time to go in and possess it. You are destined to be a billionaire. Now live like it. From the moment you took your first breath, the universe marked you as someone of infinite potential. There was no mistake in your creation, no error in your birth, and certainly no limitation placed on the abundance that was meant for you. Wealth is not reserved for a select few who stumbled upon opportunity or inherited it through fortune. It is not the privilege of the elite. It is a divine inheritance, written in spiritual law, and intended for all who will believe, act, and persist. You were not born to scrape by in life. You were not designed to merely survive, to pay bills, and to hope for scraps from a table built by others. Deep within your soul resides a power so vast, so radiant, that it is capable of drawing wealth from unseen realms and shaping it into reality. This power does not come from the world. It comes from the higher laws that govern all things. It is the spark of the Creator placed within you, and it carries the authority to command increase. The very structure of the universe operates on increase, growth, and expansion. Trees grow tall. Oceans surge forward. Stars multiply across galaxies. Nature does not shrink. It expands. It does not beg. It receives. And because you are made in the image of divine intelligence, you are subject to the same pattern of expansion and growth. The seed of wealth has already been planted inside of you, and it is your duty, not your wish, but your duty, to grow it, water it, and harvest it. This wealth is not just money, although money is one of its natural byproducts. True wealth begins in the mind and multiplies in your spirit before it ever appears in your bank account. It is the possession of a rich mentality, a firm belief that you are connected to an endless source of provision. You do not become wealthy by chasing money. You become wealthy by aligning yourself with divine abundance and allowing that abundance to flow through your thoughts, words, and deeds. There are those who have been taught to view wealth with suspicion or guilt. They were told that poverty is holy, that to be spiritual means to be broke, that to desire more is selfish. These are lies passed down from the misinformed and accepted by the unaware. There is nothing spiritual about lack. There is no honor in struggle when prosperity is within reach. When you operate in divine harmony, wealth becomes not a temptation, but a tool. It becomes a means to bless others, to expand your purpose, and to elevate the world around you. God does not withhold. The universe does not ration. There is no shortage in the divine. Scarcity is a man-made illusion born of fear and separation from truth. When you reconnect with the source of all creation, lack disappears from your experience. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to hear guidance when others hear confusion. You begin to walk in a certainty that surpasses circumstances because your supply no longer depends on external factors. The moment you realize that wealth is not something to pursue, but something to awaken within you, everything begins to shift. Your confidence grows. Your ideas become clearer. Your actions become more purposeful. No longer do you wait for permission or validation from others, because you know that the authority was given to you by a higher power. You stop apologizing for your ambition. You stop downplaying your desires. And you begin to stand tall in the truth that you are a child of abundance. But with this inheritance comes responsibility. Wealth does not flow to the indifferent or the lazy. It responds to the disciplined. It gravitates to those who prepare for it, who think for it, who act on its behalf. If you want the doors of abundance to open, you must knock with intention. If you want the treasure, you must be willing to dig. The laws that govern wealth are as exact as those that govern gravity. They do not discriminate, but they do require obedience. Begin with your thoughts. Guard them like gold. Every time you entertain doubt, fear, or limitation, you place a chain around your potential. Every time you choose faith, gratitude, and boldness, you release a floodgate of increase. Speak words that build, not words that break. Let your speech be rich even before your wallet catches up, because the tongue is the pen that writes your financial destiny. Then align your actions with your belief. Think rich, speak rich, move rich, dress like your future, plan like your future, give like your future. Prosperity is not an event that happens someday. It is a mindset you wear today. The faster you step into the vibration of wealth, the sooner wealth steps into your experience. As you begin to see yourself not as a beggar of blessings, but as a partner in the divine design, your relationship with money and success transforms. You stop looking outward and begin listening inward. You realize the power was never in the economy, the market, or the system. It was always in you. Wealth is not something you find, it is something you release. And once that release begins, it never ends. Because when your mind is open, when your faith is alive, when your purpose is clear, and when your actions are steady, there is no limit to what can flow into your life. Every act of creation begins with a purpose so clear, so definite, that the mind has no choice but to bend every thought, every impulse, and every resource in its direction. Without a clear purpose, life becomes a series of reactions instead of a deliberate pursuit. The mind drifts, energy scatters, and ambition fades into the background. But the moment a person fixes their purpose in place and refuses to look away, a force is activated that pulls wealth, opportunity, and power toward them with magnetic precision. Purpose is the internal compass that turns ordinary thought into extraordinary power. It is the invisible hand that guides you when others wander. It separates the committed from the curious. A definite purpose gives your mind its marching orders and your soul its direction. It allows you to move with certainty while others hesitate, to speak with authority while others seek permission, to create while others consume. Financial power does not flow to the uncertain, the indecisive, or the easily distracted. It finds its way to those who have made an unshakable decision about who they are and what they are here to do. When your purpose is definite, your decisions become easier. Doubt dissolves, fear fades. You stop chasing every opportunity that passes by and start building the one that was meant for you. You no longer ask what the world will give you, but instead what you are willing to give the world in exchange for the riches you seek. The law of compensation rewards value, and purpose refines your value into something the world cannot ignore. Money is a tool. It is obedient to thought and responds to purpose. It seeks movement, flow, and assignment. When you lack purpose, you lack the structure for money to stay and multiply. Without direction, wealth is mismanaged, lost, or never attracted in the first place. But when your mind is set, your mission is clear, and your actions are aligned, financial power becomes the natural outcome of your internal order. You begin to think in straight lines instead of circles. You become the kind of person who attracts capital, not the kind who chases it. Purpose is more than a goal. It is deeper than a resolution. It is a declaration to heaven and earth that your life has meaning and your actions will prove it. When you attach your purpose to something larger than survival, something more lasting than comfort, you unlock the kind of motivation that does not waver with circumstances. You rise earlier, you work longer. You speak with greater fire and operate with a sharper mind because you know what you're doing and why it matters. You were never meant to be vague about your life. Indecision is a spiritual fog. It slows your steps, blurs your vision, and weakens your prayers. But purpose is the light that cuts through the mist. It gives power to your prayer, weight to your actions, and clarity to your vision. A definite purpose gives your imagination something to build, your words something to direct, and your faith something to fuel. It transforms your life from random events into intentional results. Once you establish a purpose so clear that it becomes part of your identity, it begins to attract the tools and people required to fulfill it. The right partnerships begin to show up, the right ideas begin to flow. Even closed doors become redirections rather than rejections. The universe will test your resolve, but if your purpose is unmovable, no obstacle will stand long. Financial power is not about luck, and it is not about being in the right place at the right time. It is about being the right person, with the right purpose, applying the right principles without wavering. Purpose turns time into your ally instead of your enemy. Without a purpose, time becomes something to waste. With purpose, every minute has value, and every day becomes an investment. The wealthy understand this. They protect their purpose by protecting their schedule. They shield their mind from distraction because they know the power of a focused hour is worth more than a scattered week. Your time, your attention, and your energy are the currency of your purpose. Spend them with intention, and they will return to you multiplied. The world respects those who move with certainty. A definite purpose gives your words gravity. People listen more closely, follow more readily, and invest more confidently in those who know exactly what they want and why they want it. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the result of a mind that has been trained to dismiss confusion and demand clarity. It is the mark of someone who understands that divine success is never accidental, but always intentional. You don't need 100 plans. You need one plan pursued with 100 levels of intensity. Wealth comes not to those who dabble, but to those who commit. A definite purpose turns commitment into a habit and persistence into a reflex. You keep going when others quit because you are not driven by circumstance. You are driven by calling. And that calling is louder than any excuse and stronger than any opposition. When you discover your definite purpose, write it, speak it, visualize it, and refine it. Let it live in your mind and move through your body until it becomes inseparable from who you are. Let it guide your conversations, your business dealings, your learning, and your giving. Let it shape the environment you choose, the people you trust, and the sacrifices you are willing to make. Wealth is not found by accident. It is attracted by vision and maintained by purpose. The deeper your purpose, the stronger your foundation for unlimited financial power. There is a force more powerful than talent, stronger than circumstance, and more certain than luck. It is the inner conviction that what you imagine you will one day hold in your hands. That force is faith, not blind optimism, not shallow hope, but the deep, unshakable belief that your thoughts, once planted with conviction, will become your reality. Faith is not an emotion, it is a spiritual law. It is the bridge between what is seen and what is unseen, the link between the invisible realm of ideas and the physical world of form. Thought alone is creative, but thought infused with faith is unstoppable. Faith is the fire that makes ideas burn bright. It is the spiritual voltage that charges the mind and electrifies your intentions. Without faith, thoughts are weak, uncertain, and easily swayed. But when you add faith, your thoughts gain weight and authority. They become commands issued to the universe, instructions sent out into the world to arrange the circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with your desire. Wealth begins in the mind. It does not come from a paycheck, an investment, or a lucky break. It is first formed in the unseen world of thought and imagination, but it does not become visible until it is carried on the wings of faith. A man may think about riches every day and still remain poor if those thoughts are laced with doubt. But the one who believes so fiercely that no contradiction can sway him, who sees wealth as already his even before a single dollar appears, that person has tapped into the spiritual mechanics of creation. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. That means it is more than a feeling, it is the material of manifestation. Every skyscraper, every empire, every fortune that exists today was once a silent image in someone's mind. But the person who held the image did more than wish for it. They believed in it, they spoke it, they moved toward it, and they refused to doubt it even when the world called them foolish. That is the kind of faith that transforms thought into wealth. Faith works in harmony with purpose. It does not attach itself to confusion or double-mindedness. If your thoughts are scattered, your faith has no target. But when you direct your mind toward a single vision and fuel that vision with constant belief, the universe begins to cooperate. Your environment changes, people appear, ideas flow. Even obstacles become servants to your mission. What seemed impossible begins to yield to your will, because your will is now rooted in something greater than logic. It is rooted in the laws that govern all creation. Faith is not passive. It demands action. Real faith moves. It speaks boldly. It acts decisively. It does not wait for proof. It creates proof. The one who truly believes does not need to see the money before they build the business. They do not need to hear applause before they step on stage. They do not need to count what is in their hand because they know what is coming. Faith is the inner knowing that your supply exists even when your surroundings disagree. And the moment you act in alignment with that belief, the world begins to respond. Your thoughts are seeds. Your faith is the soil. Your action is the water. Together, they produce results that others call miracles but are really just the laws of the universe doing what they've always done. You do not need to beg for wealth. You do not need to chase it in desperation. You must simply align your thoughts, energize them with faith, and move with persistence. The moment you believe something is possible, you change your frequency, and everything you need to fulfill that vision begins to move toward you. But you must protect your faith. Doubt is a thief. It sneaks in quietly and steals your harvest before it grows. You must not entertain the voices that tell you it's too late, that you're not worthy, that your dreams are too big. Those voices are lies born of fear. They have no power unless you feed them. Faith is fed through repetition. It grows when you speak your vision daily, when you saturate your mind with images of success, when you associate with those who believe with you and for you. Guard your environment like a vault, because your faith is the most valuable asset you possess. You cannot serve fear and faith at the same time. You must choose one, and once you choose faith, you must commit to it fully. That means speaking prosperity when your account is empty. That means building momentum when no one claps. That means showing up to the vision every single day as if the reward is already yours. And it is. Because the moment you truly believe it, it has already begun to exist in the unseen. All that remains is for time to deliver it into your experience. Faith is not just believing in God or a higher power. It is believing that the power of God lives in you. It is knowing that you were designed to create, to build, to prosper, and to multiply. When your thoughts are aligned with truth and your belief is immovable, there is no limit to the wealth that will flow to you. You become a conduit of abundance. You no longer seek money out of desperation. You generate it through the authority of your mind and the clarity of your faith. There is no ceiling on what you can have, only on what you are willing to believe. The wealth you seek is already seeking you, but it will only arrive when your thoughts are fixed and your faith is unwavering. Believe before you see. Act as if it's done, or walk like it's already yours. Because the moment your mind and faith align, the invisible becomes visible and the impossible becomes inevitable. Words are cheap, thoughts are invisible, but action, that is the proof that belief has taken root in your soul. What you do reveals what you truly believe. A man may speak of success, but until his feet move in the direction of his vision, his words are only noise. Faith without works is lifeless. Belief without action is fantasy. If you believe you are destined for greatness, your life must reflect that belief through what you do daily. Action is the language the universe understands. It is the signal that you are ready to receive. No amount of wishing, hoping, or daydreaming will unlock wealth if you are not moving. Motion activates momentum. It tells the world, and more importantly, it tells yourself, that your intention is real. Every time you act on your dream, no matter how small the step, you place a demand on the laws of success. You press your belief into the fabric of reality. A thought held in the mind begins the process, but it is only action that gives it form. Desire must be given legs, vision must be given hands, purpose must be given a voice, and all three must be backed by action before the world recognizes their power. The wealth you are seeking does not respond to idle talk. It responds to discipline, to risk, to consistency, to decisions made in the face of fear. You cannot say you believe and then sit still when opportunity knocks. If belief is the spark, action is the flame. It is the demonstration of your faith. You do not need to wait for everything to be perfect before you begin. You do not need full understanding before you move. Action brings clarity. It reveals your strengths, exposes your weaknesses, and trains your instincts. The one who waits for certainty will wait forever, but the one who acts in faith, even with trembling hands, begins to shift the atmosphere around them. Belief grows stronger every time it is exercised through action. Just as muscles grow with resistance, so does faith grow with movement. If you say you believe in abundance, let your choices prove it. Let your investment of time, effort, and resources show that you trust the law of compensation. If you say you believe in your vision, let your schedule reflect that priority. What you do when no one is watching speaks louder than what you declare in front of others. Action opens doors that belief alone cannot. It attracts people, draws attention, and builds momentum. It gives substance to your dream. It changes your reputation from one who talks to one who builds. You begin to be seen not just as a dreamer, but as a creator. People trust those who move. Investors trust builders. Customers trust producers. Partners trust those who show results. You become a magnet for support when your belief is backed by evidence of work. There is no such thing as small action when it is aligned with a great vision. Every step forward, no matter how humble, compounds over time. The discipline of daily action builds character, and character is the foundation of wealth. Overnight success is a myth believed by those who ignore the years of hidden action that preceded it. What you do today, even in silence, lays bricks for the mansion of your future. You do not rise by thinking about rising. You rise by doing what others avoid, by taking the meeting, making the call, writing the plan, recording the message, finishing the book, launching the business. Every movement forward is a declaration that you believe in your destiny. When you act, heaven moves with you. The divine force that responds to faith shows up when it is backed by effort. The spiritual law is clear: ask and you shall receive. But the asking is not complete without movement. Too many people paralyze their potential by overthinking. They get caught in analysis and miss the power of obedience. If you already know what you are called to do, why delay? If the vision is in your heart, why wait for permission? The longer you delay, the colder your desire becomes. Action reignites the fire. It keeps belief alive through motion. It confirms your intention not just to yourself, but to the world around you. You cannot outthink a stagnant life. You must outmove it. Success is not reserved for the smartest, but for the most committed. It comes to those who act with urgency. Wealth does not wait for the perfect strategy. It meets the one who is already in motion. Clarity will meet you along the path, but only if you begin walking. Everything you need is already in motion toward you, but it will not meet you if you remain still. Your belief becomes unshakable when it is translated into action over and over again. Every task you complete, every project you launch, every uncomfortable step you take adds strength to your conviction. You become immune to fear because your habits are already aligned with your future. You don't need to convince yourself of who you are becoming. Your calendar proves it, your actions affirm it, your results confirm it. You are not waiting on the universe is waiting on you. Your dream is not delayed by fate, it is delayed by inactivity. Begin now, move now, build now. The more you act, the more belief becomes flesh. The more you push, the more doors will open. The more you rise, the more the world will rise to meet you. There is no prosperity without alignment. There is no abundance without order. There is no lasting wealth unless it is built in harmony with the laws that govern the universe. The greatest fortunes ever built were not accidents of chance, but results of divine obedience. Riches do not respond to chaos. They are attracted to structure, multiplied through principle, and protected by divine alignment. Every time a man or woman brings themselves under the authority of divine law, they step into the current of limitless provision. The universe is governed by laws, unchanging, invisible, absolute. These laws do not bend for emotion, culture, or opinion. They operate with precision. The law of cause and effect, the law of faith, the law of increase, the law of giving and receiving, the law of compensation. These are not suggestions. They are not up for negotiation. They are the architecture of abundance. To obey these laws is to access their power. To violate them is to suffer loss, not as punishment, but as natural consequence. Many seek wealth while ignoring the very principles that create it. They chase money instead of order. They desire the fruit but dishonor the root. They want the reward without the obedience. But wealth does not flow to the undisciplined. It does not dwell in the life of the reckless. It multiplies where there is alignment, expands where there is stewardship, and grows where there is honor. To walk in obedience is to say to the universe, I am ready to be trusted with more. Obedience begins in thought. What you allow in your mind shapes your belief. What you believe shapes your action. And what you do consistently forms your destiny. Divine law governs this process. The thoughts you sow produce after their kind. The energy you release returns to you multiplied. The words you speak set the direction of your path. When your thoughts, speech, and action come into harmony with divine truth, there is no limit to the wealth that will manifest through your life. Divine law does not restrict you. It frees you. It takes the guesswork out of success. You no longer wonder if your efforts will be rewarded. You know they will. You no longer question whether giving leads to receiving. You've seen it happen. You don't need to scheme or manipulate to get ahead. You understand that when you sow value, value returns to you with interest. Divine law multiplies the obedient because the obedient have proven themselves worthy stewards of increase. The most powerful people on earth are not those who demand riches. They are those who demonstrate wisdom. They follow the pattern set by creation. They live by discipline. They honor time. They speak life. They invest without fear. They give without hesitation. They move with integrity. These are not random acts of morality. They are decisions of obedience. They are signs of understanding that divine order governs material results. The one who obeys the law of focus does not waste energy. The one who obeys the law of sowing does not fear lack. The one who obeys the law of honor attracts divine partnerships. Obedience creates flow. It removes resistance. It attracts provision. It shields against destruction. Obedience may not always bring immediate reward, but it always produces lasting results. Every act of obedience is a seed that cannot return void. You cannot walk in disobedience and expect favor to follow. You cannot violate the law of integrity and expect trust to remain. You cannot ignore the law of gratitude and expect blessings to increase. But the moment you correct your course and bring yourself into harmony with divine truth, the channel opens. What was once blocked begins to flow again. The riches that seemed delayed begin to arrive, not because the law has changed, but because you finally aligned with it. The richest lives are not just built through vision, They are built through submission, not to man, not to systems, but to principles that have governed creation from the beginning. This is why some struggle for decades and others rise rapidly. It is not always talent that determines the outcome. It is alignment. It is whether or not the builder has laid their foundation on eternal law or temporary emotion. Emotion is unstable. Law is fixed. Emotion fades. Principle remains. Obedience is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is the daily decision to move closer to divine truth, to correct what is misaligned, to listen to the inner voice of wisdom even when the outer world is noisy. Each obedient step, no matter how small, carries the power to multiply your influence, your impact, and your income. When you honor the law honors you. Many are looking for a shortcut to wealth, but there are no shortcuts, only paths. The straightest path is the path of principle, the path of obedience to what is right, what is true, what is just. Those who walk it may not rise the fastest, but they rise the strongest. And when they rise, they do not fall, because their success is built on rock, not sand. The universe rewards those it can trust. Obedience proves you can be trusted. It shows that you will not self-destruct with power, that you will not exploit what you are given, that you will multiply, not squander, that you will build, not consume. The more you obey, the more you become a vessel fit for abundance. The greater the obedience, the greater the capacity for riches. The law does not fail. It does not discriminate. It does not forget. If you obey it, it will promote you. If you partner with it, it will protect you. If you walk in it, it will raise you to heights you never imagined. You do not need to force prosperity.